Is Diablo 4 worth a buy? Well, that's exactly what you're going to be learning in this video. This video is made after the launch of Season 2, so this isn't going to be a review of the game right after it released. This is a review of the game after Season 2 has come out in early October 2023. So I want you to preface that, and we're going to have a fully timestamped and chaptered video so you can go specifically to the parts of the video that you're the most interested in. Is the single player component worth it? Is the multiplayer component worth it? What about the battle pass? What about the actual game length? Everything that you would want to know about is Diablo 4 worth it, and breaking down the game into its individual components. So let's get right into the first part of the video, which is going to be Blizzard and my history. So my history was Blizzard games. So I played Blizzard games for a long time, guys. I played StarCraft 2 since 2010, and I also played World of Warcraft back in the day. I played Diablo 3 back in the day, but I'm not a Blizzard fanboy. I honestly believe that the company has gotten into a lot of trouble recently, and its games have just diminished in quality tremendously. I think it's important to say that so you can see that I'm not biased towards liking this game, and I definitely am one of those people that try to judge games fairly. One thing I wanted to talk about in this part of the video was actually the value proposition you're getting for Diablo 4. I think this has changed tremendously since the beginning of the game. If you remember when the game came out, its earliest edition basically cost $69.99, and it would go up almost to $100 was the Battle Pass. Now, I'm going to be explaining later in the video why I think the Battle Pass is basically a non-entity, and you can just knock out the Ultimate Edition of the game. But really, for the Standard Edition, the value proposition has changed a lot nowadays, because what we see is a 25% game discount, so the base game going down to $52.49 on Steam and on Battle Pass. And if you actually are on Xbox or one of the consoles, you can get the game from CD Keys for around $42 as of the time of this video. So I think in terms of value, the game has changed absolutely hugely from when it came out, because I do think that a $69.99 game to a $52.49 game should be rated differently, and I think the relative merits are different. So to judge ultimately if this game is worth your $52.49 or $41 if you're on console, we got to look at the content and what you're actually going to be doing in this game. So the basic premise of this game is it's a standard ARPG. This is dungeon crawlers. You're trying to upgrade your loot and become stronger and stronger. So this is a traditional power fantasy game. In this particular game, you go from level 1 to 100 through 4 world tiers. So basically, you'll be starting in either world tier 1 or 2, depending on how difficult you like your game to be. And as you level your character up, you'll be challenging progressively stronger and stronger demons, trolls, monsters, spiders, everything in between. You're basically going to be fighting any fantasy creature you ever fought, including dragons in this game, world bosses. So the actual gameplay is fairly single player focused. A lot of people are saying this is an MMORPG. Be assured it is not. There is ways that you can play online. You can definitely go on the Diablo 4 forums and Discord and play with other people, and the multiplayer component is quite strong, specifically the co-op. But there is no party finder. This isn't really focused on its multiplayer component, and honestly, you can go from level 1 to 100 playing single player. So if it's a game that you're specifically focused on because you like to play after work or something and you just want a game to relax with, then this is a good game for you. You'll basically be able to do almost all the content solo if you so choose, but if you want to jump in with some mates or you want to jump in with a friend or two, the co-op is really well designed. Now, one thing I do want to note that's very important to say is that whenever you're playing this game, you have to remember that you're going to basically be playing via Battle.net, regardless of what you're doing, except if you're on the console. So even if you're playing on Steam, you will have to link your Battle.net. So in that way, Battle.net versus Steam is kind of a little bit of a non-entity, because in both ways, you're kind of playing via Battle.net. If you're playing on console, obviously this is different. Now, I want to say that I think that this is actually probably best played on the console, and that may sound surprising for most ARPG fans, but this really comes down to the skill bar. The skill bar has only a very limited number of skills. You basically only use number 1 through 4, and then you use your mouse buttons. So realistically, this isn't utilizing the full power of the keyboard, and you can play this via controller very well. I did try out both ways. I personally prefer mouse and keyboard, but it really is not needed at all for this game. And the basic premise of the game is just you're leveling up, you're getting better gear, you're refining that gear, and you're getting your character to be an absolute god by level 100. Is it engaging? Yes, it is. You can fight through a variety of content. Right now in Season 2, there's specifically vampire-themed content, which is really fun. There's like Blood Harvest mode. You can also play in the regular Eternal Realm, which is the kind of permanent realm. But right now, there's basically a 3-month season that you progress your characters through. So it's really fun because a lot of times your character is basically back to level 1 with a lot of the rest of the people. So you can kind of join in with people and get that grind up to 100. And it's not just all in-game content. People are also doing the leveling process. So I've played on multiple characters and leveling them up. And I'm going to be doing build guides and things for that. So definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell. But I really do think the actual gameplay content is very fun, very engaging, and I think there's a little bit here for everyone, and I do think it's worth the price of entry. So one big thing that a lot of people use to determine if a game is worth it, including myself, is the game length and how much content you're getting or your dollars per hour. In my opinion, you can easily get between 60 and 100 hours of content in Diablo 4. Even though this is technically an endless amount of content, like most games you could technically keep playing over and over again, leveling different characters, doing different builds, I do think there's going to be a point at which you're going to start getting bored in the game. This definitely doesn't have the same quality as, let's say, Baldur's Gate 3 this year, where you could get hundreds and hundreds of hours for your $60. However, it's still above average, I would say, because even leveling one character to 100 is definitely going to take you between 30 and 50 hours unless you're an absolute god at the game. And I think that the variety of content is very, very engaging. This is the type of game that you hop on, you play 1 to 2 hours a day, specifically after work, because there's not a lot in this game that you have to think about other than optimizing your gear. So the stuff that you actually have to think about in game is the stuff that you have time and you're in town and you're trying to take off aspects and put it on other pieces of gear. But the actual gameplay is very, very, very easy to engage with. You don't have to think about it. There's a lot of things blowing up on screen. You're getting killed. You're reviving. You're trying to challenge different bosses. But it's very, very easy for the most part, and it's not something you have to really tactically think about. It is real time, and there is limited amounts of buttons you can press. So generally, you get your kind of skill rotation down, and you kind of start playing. So I do think that in terms of value for money, it is quite good, and if that's something you're worried about, you will be getting more than 1 hour per dollar put in the game. So I think that that's a good marker of actual quality and value for money. So now, how is Season 2, and will the game likely continue to improve in the future? The truth is, Season 2 is a lot of fun. If you look at the forums on Diablo 4, or you go to the Diablo 4 Reddit, you'll hear a lot of people saying Season 2 is a lot of fun. The vampiric powers add a lot to the game, and there's a huge amount of customization you can have for each class. I love the sorcerer. The rogue is really fun. Barbarian's still a little bit lacking, and we'll get into other guides about that, about tier lists for different classes. But ultimately, guys, whatever class you want to play, you're going to find a build. You're going to have fun. Season 2 with the vampiric powers is a ton of fun, and I do think the game is likely to improve in the future. That does not mean that I think it's going to hit previous quality standards of, let's say, Diablo 2, StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3. I don't think that's likely to happen. But for your $50 or $40, if you're on the console and you get your key through CD keys, I think it's very, very likely that you're going to get your money's worth. And Season 2 is a lot of fun, and the game, in my opinion, is likely to continue to improve. I do think that Blizzard needs this to be a success, and I do think they're doing enough to where it's making the game fun. I'm consistently having a good time, and I think you will too. The majority of people will find this a fun experience, both for casuals and for people that really want to min-max. There's something for everyone. So what about the Battle Pass? Is it worth it? The answer to that is simply no, it is not. The Battle Pass really contributes nothing to the game, and I think it's the single worst value you can find in the game. Whereas the regular version is in the 50s, the Battle Pass, or the Ultimate Edition of this game, is nearly in the 70s. There really isn't much you're getting from the Battle Pass. The cosmetics items that you actually unlock through the Battle Pass are really lackluster and not up to standard. And I think that most of the negativity of this game is attributed to the Deluxe Edition, Ultimate Edition Battle Passes. Just ignore it, guys. Imagine it doesn't exist because it's giving you nothing. You really should not get it until maybe Blizzard makes some serious changes and gives you more for the battle pass. Or at the very least, like a lot of other games, you can buy one battle pass and just simply through playing the game, you'll be able to earn enough credits and enough, I believe they call them platinums, in order to get later battle passes, which is not the case here. You cannot do that right now. Right now, basically every battle pass won't give you enough for nearly like one cosmetic, so it's not really going to be very worth it, and I think it's a terrible value proposition. So just ignore the battle pass and pretend it doesn't exist. Luckily, it is not pay to win. There's nothing really in the battle pass that's helping you. It's simply for cosmetics, and those cosmetics aren't even really that good. So just ignore the battle pass and pretend it doesn't exist. So in summary, would I recommend Diablo 4 at this time, at the start of Season 2? Absolutely. I think it's a great game, and I think if you know what you're getting, which is basically a single-player / co-op focused experience, you're going to have a great time. Do not believe this is an MMORPG, despite what people may be saying to you. It is not. You should not be expecting that. But if you're looking for a really fun ARPG that's single-player oriented with some co-op and multiplayer in the game, this is going to be a great time. You're going to be able to spend easily 60 to 100 hours. You have a lot of class choices. Just ignore the battle pass. To not even consider it existing. Only get the standard edition of this game, which should cost around $52 right now on sale. And if you're on the console, go to CD Keys. I've used it many, many times in the future, and save yourself an additional $10 to $15. I will be leaving a link for that, which is not an affiliate link, and I earn no money for it, in the video description. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it helped you. Click that like, click that subscribe button. I'm going to be making a lot of build order guides and explanations and other guides for Diablo 4. I had a blast playing this game, and I'm really hoping you guys will join me. I actually have an in-game clan, which you can look up. Final Boss is Best. Halo FB is the clan name. Just send an invite, and I will invite you into the clan. Let's go have fun in Diablo 4. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next video.